Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Autistic Voice Project. As always, I'm Matt from roughly Louisville, Kentucky.
And I'm Erin from Napa, California.
And today we have someone joining us. Uh,
Woo.
I've known Kate for a few years now. Uh, Tell us who you are and why I know you, Kate.
Well, I'm Kate McNulty, and I live in Portland, Oregon, and see people across the country. I have licenses in various states as a therapist, and Matt and I often are training other therapists together. So we do some work through the Chicago School and do continuing education, and have some other places that we do teaching. So it's my pleasure to be here, and I look forward to our conversation.
All right.
Wonderful.
We currently have a 9-part course at the Chicago School that people can take through video about autistic centered therapy, and we've got a course on how to do an autistic affirming evaluation. And Kate has lots and lots of courses at the Chicago School if you want to check in on that. And Kate, are you autistic?
Yes, I am.
Oh,
Yes,
good. I'm glad,
I'm
because
Proudly.
after all this
actually,
time, it would be awkward.
I'm one of the more late diagnosed people that I know of, though, because I only figured this out about 12 years ago.
12 years
Mhm.
ago.
And I am having my 72nd birthday in a few days.
Oh
Oh,
So,
my!
happy
Happy
birthday
birthday!
almost.
yeah, so I didn't figure this out until I was well into my adulthood. And like many people, it came to me through the younger generation. One of my
Hmm.
kids, who was constantly online and reading and studying a million topics, said, I think I'm autistic, and I bet you are too. And
Ah, the
because
tried
I
and true child to
because I
parent
only
pipeline.
knew at that time what most therapists know, I said, "Oh, come on. You've got to be kidding me. That's not even possible. What a silly idea."
Right.
And then
Well,
I
you're a
started
therapist
reading.
after all. How could you possibly be
Yeah.
autistic?
Yeah.
I have friends. There are 4 of them, and here are their full biographies. Here's the Excel spreadsheet I have about my friends. Yeah,
What could possibly be autistic about that?
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. So the traditional child to parent pipeline there.
That's the
Hmm.
way it seems to work.
It
Yeah.
Yeah,
does.
especially
It
for
does
those of us in
frequently.
the lost generation.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, so what is that lost generation? Who are they, and where did they go?
Well, because I am also part of the lost
Uh-huh.
generation, we're people who grew up, we are people who grew up at a time when either autism was not well known or not well understood. And it was, was a lot of stigma, a lot of fear, and the stereotypes were centered around autistic boys from
Mhm.
autistic white boys in upper middle class environments who were acting out enough to get assessed.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of disclaimers, but I think it's never we cannot overstate the impact that that has had on people who don't fit that group, right?
Mhm.
They they got um, identified and then of course stereotyped through things like Rain Man and other TV
Mhm.
shows and movies that showed stereotypical presentations rather than the variety of those of us who are autistic. And um, and what happened is it created this huge area of sort of foggy, cloudy, you're just anxious, maybe you're
Mhm.
bipolar, maybe you're borderline.
Why are you so
Like,
emotional all the
why are
time?
you so emotional all the time? Why are you complaining about you're too sensitive? Like,
Uh-huh.
you're like a freaking Goldilocks. Why do you have to have it just your way? Like,
Mhm.
and so we all, those of us who were part of that lost generation, um, got, our masking skills were as good as we could possibly have them be because it was survival, but it also has cost quite a lot of us in terms of
Mhm.
health
Mhm.
and in terms of well-being,
Yeah.
and also in terms of like our I'll say life purpose rather than employment, because employment is not our culture likes to pretend that employment is the place that we all find fulfillment, and the
Mhm.
reality is we are more than our jobs.
Yeah,
Believe
yeah,
it or
because
not, weird
yeah,
but true.
even this very podcast, I dare say, may hopefully impact more people than my personal,
Yeah,
therapy practice. But
exactly.
we don't get to paid a single dime from this. If you want to send us dimes, we will accept your dimes.
Yes, we are
But
setting
we
up
do
a
not.
Patreon, so
Oh, good, good, yeah, because
yeah,
we don't get any money from this, and it's
yeah,
getting expensive as we add people and features and things. So.
yes.
But yeah, as you were mentioning Rain Man, I as a young weird white boy was I tried to that my mom tried to have me evaluated when I was in first grade because my teacher was like, "Hey, I'd like to give this kid a test. Can I give this kid a test?" And she did it after school, and apparently I don't remember much about. I remember a little bit, but. Uh, the account was that I panicked because I thought that they were going to lock me in and I wouldn't be able to escape the school, so I ran out of the school, and they did not finish the test. I had the same teacher in third grade. They completed the test, and immediately afterwards, a psychologist from UK who studies twice exceptional kids, autistic and gifted, began following me around for the next 2 decades.
Oh,
Yeah,
awesome. Because
but my
that
mother,
wouldn't have made you anxious at all.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, but my mother, was insistent that, oh yes, it's just because you're smart. And I didn't learn until
Uh-huh.
much later that because I'm also autistic. But as far as Rain Man goes, it should have been a sign that one time we watched Rain Man, and to this day, one of my echolalia things is, yeah, 700 Oak Street, Cincinnati, Ohio, yeah, and I would, as a quote unquote non-autistic child,
Mm,
repeat Rain Man nonstop and find it hilarious and repeat it several times a day
that is kind of
because
hilarious, though.
reasons. So what do you so before we get into our main topic for today, what do you do when you realize that, for 60 odd years, you've not been living authentically. You haven't been the real
Yeah,
you.
that must have been a hell of an unmasking.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
What do you do with that?
Well, I think I had always known to take refuge in my special interests, and
Oh,
they were my life companion. And
uh,
so I've been a voracious reader, and I've investigated and learned about many topics. And I just am very, very good at entertaining myself. So that's part of what kept me going and allowed me to live in a fulfilled and satisfied way, despite being autistic and not knowing it. And I think too, I had tried in Portland, Oregon, there are a lot of pretty eccentric people, and it's
Mm,
easy to meet oddballs and weirdos. But despite that, I had traveled in many social circles and still not really felt like I found my people. But then recognizing my autism, it it was easy to find other autistic people and thus feel more comfortable and like I was in a place where there were kindred spirits.
yeah.
so in the event that one of our dear listeners uh, says, this is an excellent introductory episode to send to my parents to point out the obvious autism that they don't know they have.
Mhm.
Uh, let's talk about the term special interest. What makes an interest special? What makes an interest more than a regular interest? Because reasons. And how did you know? Because again, the stereotype is that there are a lot of older, for instance, like my neighbor,
Yeah.
when I moved in, I one of my neighbors is said, "Oh yes, my son is non-speaking autistic with an AAC device," and he did a wonderful examination of my home. Gave me a 300-page document about all the workings of my home because he's very thorough because the genes. And then
Mm-hmm.
when I moved in, the woman across the street was like, "Oh, hi, welcome to the neighborhood." And I said, "Hi, my son and I are autistic. We're glad to be here." And she was like, "Oh yeah, well, my husband is currently rebuilding a '57 Chevy in the basement, and there's no way to get it out." And I was like, "Thank you, madam.
Talk
We
about the
feel
museum.
welcome." Yeah, exactly. Uh, yeah, because I'm sure that there are lots and lots of people there, especially those with $2 million train setups in the basement that have
Mm-hmm.
very precise things. we find each other fairly easily. But what if someone's special interest isn't trains or rebuilding a
Hmm.
57 Chevy in their
Hmm.
basement? What is a special interest? What makes it special, and what makes it different from, I don't know. I once went kayaking, and therefore I listed as my hobby.
Hmm. Well, I mean, I don't even like this term. I'm just using it because this is the conventional language, right? Special interest to me sounds like some sort of condescending way of describing things. I prefer to talk about intense interests or passionate interests,
Hmm.
but for just easy recognition, I'm using this term today. I think that the degree of focus, intensity, and devotion is what separates a
Ah.
special interest from a hobby or somebody else's ordinary level of interest that you might find in most of the population who might enjoy playing ping pong or tennis or board games or something. Well, board games, I don't know. There's a lot of us in that crew too, but yeah,
Yeah,
as you
yeah.
said, kayaking, things like that.
Anytime you find a devout Catan fan,
Yeah.
that's probably a criteria there,
Mhm.
Yeah.
because yeah,
So
I
it's
will
the
have all the wheat.
fanaticism and the fascination, I think, that defines a special interest.
I agree with the term special interest because it
Mhm.
denotes, other things.
Hmm.
I like the shortening of from special SP interest IN to spin,
Mhm.
because it's what spins us. It
Yeah.
it
Hmm.
it helps us go around. And
Right round, baby,
yeah,
right round.
exactly. Yes, every damn time. Yes, yes. I love it. Yeah, that's in my head, because
Perfect.
that's a thing we call echologia,
Right.
where
Mm.
all of a sudden you start playing things in your head, and that's just there now. So it's
Hmm.
going to be in there for the next several days, such is the way. Uh, there, to do a side trek into, uh, hey Erin,
Yeah.
what is this thing we call a flow state?
So that's when we get really absorbed in something. We're really zoomed in, like the mental gears are all oiled, everything's moving, and we're in this place where we're just like we're we're doing the thing, we're figuring it out, we're engaging deeply. It's a very nourishing and regulating state to be in.
Yeah.
It's also highly creative a lot of the
Yes.
times. It's not just you know it's not just repetition, although certainly could be repetition involved.
Yeah, because
Um,
to an outsider, it looks like repetition,
it
but
certainly
on the
can, yeah.
inside, it's
Right.
slight variations a billion
Yes.
times
Yes,
to
exactly.
dial in that fine level of detail.
Exactly, exactly. And so it can and it can happen in fast rhythms. Like I know a certain young man who loved to experiment with pouring things into other things.
Yeah.
Um and figuring out like what is it like if I'm pouring liquid that's colored this color? What's it like if I'm pouring a liquid that's colored that color? What if it's a large vessel going into a small vessel? What if it's a small vessel going into a large vessel? Right?
Yeah. I
Um,
always say that he's doing his research on hydrodynamics,
he
because
is,
yeah,
which
to
is
an outsider, it's like,
it
oh,
is
that's
true.
yeah,
It's true. Whether or not those findings get used in any way is irrelevant because
yeah.
the discovery
Ooh,
process is its thing, is the
because
purpose.
talk about intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation for a moment.
Oh, yeah. So intrinsic motivation is when you have a motivation coming from inside, which, as interest-based nervous system people, intrinsic motivations will drive us like nobody's business. That is the rocket fuel of our lives, right? Extrinsic motivation is when somebody else wants us to do it for them. So if just as an example, this week I'm an amateur vibe coder. For anybody who knows anything about using ChatGPT to code things, that's been one of the things that I've been spinning on for the last probably year and a half. And this week, my passion and my interest and my focus has all gotten um, has all coalesced into a particular vibe coding project that I'm working on that has the potential to help a whole bunch of people in a very, very instrumental financial kind of way.
Neat.
And um, and
I like the
so
specificity of it because once again, when we talk about special interests, it could be rocks, but not just rocks.
right,
Very, very specific details about things because we get into the nitty gritty because that's where the joy lies.
exactly. And this project, like, I am living it. I'm eating it. I'm breathing it. It's I'm thinking about it right now. I'm like, I love you all. I'm looking forward to having this conversation, and also I wish I were doing that.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And it's
yeah.
not personal. You know, y'all are fabulous people. But guess what I'm going to do as soon as I'm done with this today? I'm going to go be back working on that because not only is it a special interest, this vibe coding thing, but it's also one that aligns with my purpose and my values and my passion and my justice sensitivity. So there's like all of these layers that have made me zoom in. And when I'm working on this project, like, nobody asked me to do this. I saw a gap. And I was like, oh, I can totally fill that gap.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so that's a very intrinsic motivation. But if somebody was like, okay, Erin, can you do this for me? I'd probably be like, yeah, sure. Okay. And that would be the level of passion that I would invest in it, unless I found my own intrinsic interest in it, in addition to having someone else ask me to do it.
And this is the big difference because there are many, many people out there. For instance, like the biggest problem right now is that AI is a tool and you can use it either for the public good or to
Yes.
put people on lists. And there
Right.
are many, many people out there who say, how can I make lots and lots of money off of this?
Right.
That is not a special interest for them. That is a financial driver because
Right.
yeah, that is what they are doing. But in order to say I want to do this in my spare time for no regular compensation, I want to do it for the sake of doing it, to be the best that I ever was, in order to do this wonderful thing that I love so much. That is a major, major difference.
And
A lot of
that, especially when it lines up with our other passions, like the justice sensitivity, like the project that I'm working on is one where there have been a lot of people who have been wronged, and I'm creating a tool that will help identify ways that that those particular people have been wronged, so that the lawyers involved in the lawsuit can evaluate massive amounts of data faster and more accurately.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right? Like,
yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to be my dessert after this.
I love that concept of anticipation too. I mean, you're talking about it in a momentary way, Erin, but I also think it's under recognized how much of an inherent pleasure itself anticipation is, the state of anticipation and us fantasizing or looking forward to something. I think an experience a lot of autistic people have is that we've got very vivid imaginations and can have really rich inner lives that are quite elaborate. And
Yes.
so I think the pleasure of anticipation has its own fulfillment and gratification, even though we're not doing anything maybe in particular, just having our own engagement with thoughts or visions.
Right. Yeah,
It's a reason to
totally.
get up in the morning because you have something to
Yeah.
look forward to.
Yeah.
Whatever it may be. And that's the thing about this, because to an
There's not a
outsider,
lot to look forward to in day-to-day
yeah.
life at this
And
time in history, actually. So
Yeah, there's that.
we'll have to go on fumes, I guess.
and that's why we need like an episode like this, because we need to remind people. For instance, like when my son gets home, he says, "Hi, Daddy, welcome home," because I always say, "Hi, Emmett, welcome home." And he replies, "Hi, Daddy, welcome home."
Mhm.
And he goes in, takes off his shoes, takes off his coat, goes and washes his hands, and he says, "I am pouring." And then he just goes into his bathroom and shuts his door. And I call it his lavatory laboratory. He will pour for a while, and then he will say, "I make a clock." And then he will go and make some clocks. And I'll check on him, and he'll just be happy as a clam. And I've got his little workshop set up over here with
Mhm.
a toolbox full of clock parts that he will work on. And from the time he gets here, he'll have his headphones on, playing Muppets on his tablet, working on his clocks, working on his pouring. He'll eat some cookies. He'll eat a snack. But he's just smiling and singing to himself the entire time as he does his thing. And there, I, someone in the future might pay him to pour. Someone in the future might pay him to repair a clock, but he just does it because that's
Yeah.
what he loves. He's
Yeah.
happy as a clam. He'll check in, and I'll say, "How are you doing?" And he'll say, "Happy," and then he'll just keep on going,
Perfect.
and he's just having a great little time here. And
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if the outside world understands it or not. This is
Yeah.
what drives us because it improves our lives and it brings us this joy. It gives us those endorphins. It brings us into that flow state, which is meditative. It helps
Mm-hmm.
heal us. It helps regulate us. It
Mm-hmm.
helps tame that wild vagus nerve. It
Mm-hmm.
helps us deal with all of these things that we absolutely need in
Mhm.
order to be healthy, happy human beings.
And I'll add that, like, it's not an accident that this project is what I'm working on this week. So we're recording on January 30th. It's been
Mhm.
6 days since Alex Purdy was murdered.
Oh yeah.
The slide into fascism continues,
Mhm.
and
Accelerating.
is
Yeah.
accelerating.
Mhm.
And I'm not in Minneapolis. I can't do anything about what's happening in Minneapolis,
Mhm.
but I can do something
Yeah.
to help the people that are currently struggling in this
Mhm.
particular lawsuit situation. I have the skills to be able to bring some justice there,
Yeah.
or to facilitate justice happening.
Mhm.
So, like, so it's regulating. It's giving me a space to regulate and a way to regulate where I can move towards what's important to me in the justice arena, while I recognize that I don't have the ability to do big moves in other ways.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
And this is one of those things because things do seem very helpless. But if we let them take our hope, they win. We need hope. We need the ability to live. We need the ability to be happy. We need the ability to continue functioning on a day-to-day basis, and we need to be able to encourage our fellow human beings to get through this as well. And we
Mhm.
need this sort of and again, that's one of the reasons why I do the podcast, because there are several people who email me and say, "Hi, I would like therapy. I am on Medicaid," and I was like, I don't take any insurance whatsoever because the insurance system is terrible." And there are several people who say, "Oh, can I have free therapy?" And I was like, well, not without killing me, because I don't have enough time in the day and I don't have enough
Yeah,
executive
you're only
function to
one
be able to pull that
person.
off. So hopefully we can give some free therapy out through the podcast, and help people in ways that we can help people. So
Yeah,
we
although
do what we
insert
can with
legal
what we have.
disclaimer here, this is not therapy.
This is
This
not
is not
therapy.
the
No.
creation of this is not the creation of a therapeutic relationship, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
we want
Uh,
you to get what you need, and if you need individual therapy, please seek it out.
yeah. This is for entertainment purposes only.
Yes, and
Yeah.
education.
Yes, and education. More legit than Miss Cleo, but just as entertaining.
Yeah.
We aspire to Miss Cleo's
Yeah,
level of,
Right.
yeah,
yes. Well, I also am thinking, as I'm hearing what you have to say, is that, I think autistic people are more prone than the general population to fretting worrying,
Hmm.
getting immobilized by the kind of stress
Ah,
that we're all witnessing now.
Yeah.
And all the more reason to engage in some kind of physical activity or movement, even if it's boring. Put some red
Hmm.
food coloring and some blue food coloring in. It's, do something that involves moving your body around, because
Yes.
just being engaged in action is healing and curative when we're in this state of scrolling endlessly or worrying about what's going to happen. And, I think we also, I mean, there's so much that goes on in the world in the discourse about autism that is done by and rotates around white people. And I just want to name it that, white people are starting to experience and recognize what's been happening to everybody else all along anyway.
Hmm.
So
yeah.
we're in this horrific realization and recognition of something terrible that's been going on for colored people, people of color, black people, the global majority for, well,
Right.
since who knows when, right? Since
Right.
colonialism. So,
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
let it
It's
sink
it's
in,
been quite a
recognize
horrible
it.
long history.
Yes, see what's happening in your own heart and mind in terms of the effects this is having on you. Just
Right.
knowing that many other people are further down the road and know a lot about how to persist, how to
Hmm.
survive, how to fight.
Hmm.
I would like to try to get Black Forager on here because she does some really really good work,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
she's also very autistic, so it would
Hmm.
fit
Nice.
right in because I didn't know that you could eat the majority of the world. I thought we
Hmm.
just had chicken nuggets.
My
So
mind just went into the gutter with
ah
It's it's been there for the taking all along. Huh? We merely need the skills to
yeah yeah
recognize. Yeah.
my
yeah
inner
yeah
13-year-old boy just came out.
So if you're feeling helpless or overwhelmed, I think it's good to, even on the most literal, simple level, like clean out a drawer,
yeah
Yeah.
change the sheets on your bed, do a load of laundry, do even some
Right.
domestic thing, just to engage in something that shows you I have agency. I can
yeah
make things happen in the world.
yeah.
Well,
You're
and
not going to let the oppressive factors
Hmm.
control you and pre-crush you.
Hmm.
and on a
You got to make
nervous
them work for it.
on a nervous system level, Kate, you're pointing out something really important. We've all heard, many of us anyways have heard about the idea of like fight, flight, and freeze.
Hmm.
Um, and what's happening right now in our world, and especially for white people who are starting to experience the slightest taste of what Black people and other people of color who have been experiencing for centuries, um, is that our nervous systems are like, what even is this? How do I
Yeah.
handle it? Um, and and the tactics are designed to make us freeze.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, and it's to subdue the majority population or the population in power through either recruitment or freezing into immobilization,
Hmm.
right? And so what you're suggesting there, move your body in any way you can, even if it's turn the page in a book, right?
Hmm.
It helps your nervous system know that you're not actually frozen,
Hmm.
right? And that's it, I can't even say how important that is. That
Yeah.
is so, so important.
Hmm.
It's fascinating that we've got that metaphor going on, where, especially with in Minneapolis, where it's very cold, fighting an
Mm.
organization named after frozen water. So
Hmm.
this is
That's a
fascinating.
whole set of
Uh-huh.
points I hadn't even considered, and yet it's
Uh-huh.
completely true.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
because yeah,
Hmm.
all the data points coalescing due to autism. Because
because that's how we roll.
yeah, 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 and the and that again, that's the whole yes, we are being shot in the streets, and black people say yes, it's Tuesday, and
Right.
we have to say yeah, that yeah, sorry about that, and we have to realize that this has been unsustainable for a very very long time, but no, it seems like not enough people are willing to get up and move and change it because comfort breeds complacency.
Yeah.
The only way, and this is Raise your hand if you're a therapist. So, yeah, one of the most common things that we have is that people don't come to therapy when they're comfortable. People
Mhm.
don't come to
Right.
therapy when they're happy. People don't come to therapy when they're unwilling to change, especially if you like bring a
Well,
spouse
they
in
might,
or a
if they're
significant other.
mandated, they
Yeah,
might
well,
not
yeah,
be
yeah,
willing to
yeah.
change.
And even then, it's like, yeah, I don't care. I really like drinking, and I'm going to continue drinking and driving, and nobody can stop me. And I'm like, oh wow, this won't end well. But
Ugh, no.
it's one of those things that if somebody is uncomfortable, they might be motivated to make a change, and we can only
Yeah.
hope that this finally makes people uncomfortable enough. This
Mhm.
finally makes white people uncomfortable
Mm-hmm.
enough to stand up and say, "Ah, I don't like this. This feels uncomfortable. Let us
Right.
stand with people who have been doing this for a very long time and dare I say learn from them because they've had to organize and have
Mm-hmm.
communities and take care of each other for a very long time."
Mhm.
Whereas
Mm-hmm.
once again, we're in that whole app culture where we thrive on colonialism and capitalism and all that other
Mm-hmm.
bullshit. But anyway,
Yeah,
the
no, I
point.
mean, I think we also work within political structures that are
Yeah,
designed to instill a feeling of hopelessness and
of course.
helplessness, and
Mm-hmm.
that's things are working as intended, as the
Yes.
Right.
phrase goes.
Exactly. It's a
Yeah,
feature, not a bug.
yeah.
Yeah. Because if you're hopeless, who are you going to look to? Your
Mhm.
political daddy. And who likes to be
Mm-hmm.
called daddy? Oh my. Yeah.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
two are on a roll today with
Yeah.
the double entendres.
Yeah. Welcome to
Well,
the
it.
show.
Well, I think
I was
also,
gonna.
I
I was
mean, I
gonna
think in
say.
times of despair, though, it's easy for people to lose their interest, their intensity, or feel guilty or bad about, things
Yeah.
that might feel self-indulgent or trivial.
Yes.
But, everyone in history has had the right to enjoy music and gathering and good food and
Mm-hmm.
togetherness, right? Like those are things that are inherently human, and we need to allow ourselves some of that in whatever form, even if it's being in a Facebook group called Autistic Connections, for example. Like that
Mm-hmm.
gives people some nourishment and some nurturing. So I think it's important to recognize that it's not trivial to have fun or laugh or enjoy pleasure.
And
No,
then
in fact, it's required because it's one of
Hmm.
the things that helps us remember that we are alive.
Yeah.
yeah.
And you know, it's not. Most people are not so compartmentalized that they forget about the government or whatever challenges that they're
Hmm.
dealing with when they're at um, doing some kind of connecting thing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
um, but it gives us a chance to have something else in the foreground of our attention for a while,
Hmm.
right?
Fun,
And
fun
for
fact. Oh, sorry.
yeah,
Go on.
no,
Uh,
go ahead.
did you know how this is related to racism, cornflakes, and square dancing?
No, I've no
Do
clue.
go on.
Okay, the brother of Ray Kellogg, the guy who founded the Kellogg's cereal empire,
Yes.
was very concerned that quote unquote black music was making its way into white America and corrupting white America, and that black dancing, like popularized by famous white man Elvis Presley, would inevitably ruin the white morals and all this other stuff. So he helped propagate with stuff from like Henry Ford, because
Mm,
Henry Ford also massive eugenicist and
yeah.
a template for the Reich. But
And Elon Musk apparently.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, because
Mm,
that long history of all that. But anyway, helped uh, get into politics and promote square dancing in schools as a way to co-opt all of the black music and black dancing that enslaved people had used for a very long time to keep their
mm,
spirits up, to keep their culture going, to keep their music and traditions alive. And square dancing was designed to replace that with quote unquote proper white morals.
Regimentation.
Yes, because
Yeah.
again, in square dancing, you never, gyrate because, oh my, we can't have any gyration. Uh, on a side topic, one of my special interests has now become competitive Tahitian
Gyrating.
dancing, and I was I was unaware the competitive Tahitian dancing existed,
Uh-huh.
but my God, they are athletes. Well done.
Nice.
So anyway,
Nice.
anyway, the square dancing was done to cut down on that gyration, cut down on that unstructured fun,
Race
and
music was a
yes,
dangerous
yes.
force.
So that's the reason why children in school must take square dancing and PE, even though it's really, really weird and bizarre, because enslaved people were able to keep their hope, keep their spirits, keep their culture through music and dance and community. And this is a tool, and we need to learn from that and use it at a time like this to
Hmm.
keep our spirits alive in very dark times.
I also have some other loose end there, Matt, about the Kellogg's family having some kind of anti-masturbation agenda, and
They
that was
did,
something
yes.
to do with the cereal they produced, that it was supposed to help people not want to
What?
masturbate or
This
something.
is
I am
true.
not
This is
making
true.
this up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, cornflakes were
Yes.
apparently designed not to stir the libido, as it
Right.
were.
Right.
So,
Yes.
yeah, it's
Okay.
they yeah, because again, you can't
It's
have
all of peace.
yeah, that
Yes.
because
No
yeah,
lust. No
no,
movement
none.
below the waistline.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. They get all
What a
Quaker
sad
down
life
there
they must
and
have had. Can you
yeah,
imagine?
well, no,
Could you
Shaker,
imagine
not
that?
Quaker.
Like,
Yeah.
if you're like, look, I'm not talking to people who are asexual. If you're not, you're, if you're ace, like this doesn't apply to you. But for people who
They
are
became ace
interested in
thanks to the
sex,
cornflakes.
what's that?
I'm they became ace thanks to the cornflakes. I'm
Hmm.
joking. Yes.
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 Like for people who are interested in having sexual experiences in their lives, like, can you, that is just such a sad way of living
Yeah.
for them, right? I'm not talking about for people who are finding it, like don't need that to feel satisfied or don't have any interest. Like, good on you if you're
Yeah.
living your life your way. But to try to impose that on people just because sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just yeah.
Because
I'm just going to stop
that's
there because otherwise I'm going to just really start cussing.
you can
Go
cuss.
ahead.
It's your show.
I know,
Yeah.
but
You can say hell damn fart if you want.
yeah.
Yeah.
G-rated cussing only.
Yeah. But there's actually papers written about how masturbation releases a ton of dopamine, and
Right.
it's a way to raise the spirits, especially for women. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we should get sponsored by OMGES.
What
be our
is
brand.
OMGS?
Yeah.
I went to OnlyFans.
OMGES is a it's a sexual education program that teaches people about the anatomy of the vulva and the clitoris and the vagina to allow
These are car
people,
parts, right?
Yeah, exactly. To allow people and to facilitate the sexual pleasure of people who have those organs. So
I think it is. Yeah. It's based in science. It's from the Kinsey Institute or
yeah,
Masters and Johnson's or something.
Famous autistic person,
yeah.
Alfred Kinsey. Yes,
of course. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Slightly on topic. Maybe we should see if they want to sponsor us.
Well, if you're not getting enough enrichment in your enclosure, you can always masturbate.
Yeah, slightly on topic. I have discovered that, as you know, I am a coffee aficionado, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I have discovered that coffee maintains its flavor if you buy it in bean form rather than pre-ground coffee. So
yes.
I am on the lookout for a quality bean grinder.
Mm.
So.
Okay.
Kate would laugh at that, but
Life's
yeah.
little pleasures. No, not at all. I
Oh,
think
I
it's
just
grand.
okay.
Yeah.
I just got what you were saying.
My humor takes a bit to set in.
No, I just
I once did an eval with a kid, and I was sitting there and asking questions, and the kid burps and says, "Oh, yeah, burp. Excuse me, I'm nasty." And I said, "Oh, in that case, you may call me Miss Jackson." And then I kept asking questions, and then the mother just stopped and laughed so hard she had to leave the room. And
oh
I'm
my
like,
god,
"There
that's
we go."
hilarious.
Yes. So, so just like my sense of humor,
Mhm.
it takes us a while to get to where we're going sometimes. And today is one of those times that we haven't quite gotten to where we're going. And right now we're out of time for this episode. But Kate, if you'll stick with us, we will continue our next episode into the thing we were going to talk about this episode, which is how to regain your special interests,
Mhm.
how to reignite that pilot light, how to
Mhm.
get back what we
Or
were going for, because
or
sometimes it takes
reorient
us a
if
while to get
it's
there. That's
civil.
what she said.
Yes.
So if you'll rejoin us either in 1 week or immediately, depending on how far in the future you are and how much of
Mhm.
backlog you have to our
Mhm.
podcast, please join us on another
Okay.
episode of the Autistic Voice Project. Have a good one.
Bye, everyone.